Hello and welcome to Tennis Snacks. And today we're talking about constructive feedback and how it can improve your game. So one of the big questions here is, who are you facing when you're playing tennis? Is it your opponent? Is it yourself? Thoughts? Who are you playing with? Who are you playing against? Well, your biggest opponent and the one that's going to drag you down is yourself. There's that. See you next time. No, I'm joking. So imagine when you're playing tennis and you miss a shot. I'm sure that you already dealt with this type of situations where you're just like, oh, this backhand. I can hit a signal backhand, or oh, another double fault. Great. Well done, Vasco. Well done, well done. You're gonna be really good if you continue to play like this. If that sounds familiar, well, you're in the right place, because this video is gonna help you to understand the importance of constructive feedback. I'm going to explain a little bit the concept. So imagine you have your perfect self, and your perfect self is someone that never misses a shot. It's someone that hits all the shots winners. He hits aces. He wins all the matches. So it's the perfect version of yourself. Of course, it's not real because it doesn't exist. But the issue is that he has a really important role in your mindset and also on the mental part of the game. Because imagine every time that you're starting to play tennis, that perfect version of yourself will always keep your eyes on what you're doing. And on the other side, you have yourself, a guy that is trying to play tennis. He's trying to improve, but he has one big issue, that it's the weight of the presence of that perfect version of yourself. So you have two types of layers. Here, it's just you, but then you have that perfect version of yourself. You guys are following? Great. So every time they have some sort of bad feedback, I call it destructive feedback, that you have something like this. Oh, another
You don't know
double
how to
fault.
play tennis?
Hey, look at this
To a
backhand.
joke.
Well done. Well
Look
done.
at that
Yeah,
backhand.
you're gonna win a lot of games.
Double fault?
Every time you do this,
Again?
it's the perfect version of yourself that is stepping in. So in this case, you have a triangular situation where you have yourself, your opponent, and the best version of yourself, or the perfect version of yourself. So every time that guy steps in, you're screwed, because imagine you have constantly someone, imagine on the back fence shouting at you, hey, move your feet, you're lazy, how do you expect to win that game? Look at that backhand, you're ridiculous, you suck, what are you doing? So all those things are dragging the version of yourself that really wants to play. That's why constructive feedback is so important. Why should you use it? Because it's going to mitigate the presence of the perfect version of yourself. So imagine every time you hit a shot and you miss it, go something like this. Okay, next time try to get closer to the ball. Okay, the ball was on the net, safer margin. Get closer to it. Okay, no worries, you can do better next time. All this type of feedback will mitigate the presence of that perfect version of yourself. And that's why it's really important to use it, because otherwise you're just gonna get all stuck. Imagine you're constantly being bombarded by these types of thoughts. It's impossible. And the problem with this is that it creates a snowball effect. So you're stacking up all these things. So you miss one shot, you start talking. You miss the second shot, you continue to talk. You miss the third shot, suddenly you suck, and what you're doing here in the middle of nowhere, traveling to play a tournament, and you can hit a single shot. So you see the problem here. It's gonna almost annihilate the good feeling when you're in the court, you know? Every time you're gonna step into the court, you're almost having that expectation that your perfect version is going to step in. The guy takes over. It just sucks all the joy and happiness from being on the court, and you don't enjoy yourself. And remember, tennis it's a sport, of course. You want to be good, you want to win, but if you don't, in the end of the day, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, what's the point, you know? And don't play for others, for your coach, for your parents. No, play for yourself, because you like the sport and you enjoy yourself. So it's important to draw the line into a situation where, I mean, if you're enjoying yourself on the court, keep doing it. But if that perfect version of yourself steps in and kind of puts so much pressure on your shoulders that you suddenly can't really play, and you stop extracting joy from what you're doing, then, well, it's better to have a sit down with your coach and try to work it out, because otherwise you're just gonna get mentally exhausted. You lose all the joy in playing tennis. So bottom line, use constructive feedback in order to lift you up in situations where you can have a tendency to be more negative. When you're verbalizing your thoughts, make sure that you verbalize it in a way that it's not actually destructive. And all this concept that I'm talking about, the constructive feedback and that triangular situation where you're actually playing not only against your opponent, but you also play against yourself from this book, The Inner Game of Tennis. I'll leave the description down below, and it's a good read. I mean, it's something that most players, they normally don't think about it. But the truth is that if you're able to take that situation, which is a really complicated one, and twist it around in a way that you're actually motivating yourself to overcome errors, and you're just going to focus in the future, and you're just going to focus in playing better tennis. Let's do a quick recap. Who's your biggest opponent? Yourself. Your perfect version of yourself will always try to like push you down against the version of yourself that is actually trying to play. So it's like your alter ego, who is the perfect guy that never misses a single shot, and when he sees you do those type of things, it actually uses destructive feedback to push you down to that sarcasm, just completely annihilates your confidence. Point number 2, how to fight it? Well, that's a good question. So how do you fight being all like negative and all that stuff? Well, instead of using that destructive feedback, you have on the other side of the spectrum constructive feedback. So every time you miss a backhand, for instance, try to analyze why you missed that shot and how you can improve it. Well, in this case, it's important for you to have a good tennis IQ to try and fix those errors. But for instance, if you miss a backhand on the net, a good constructive feedback example is, okay, next time, okay, let's get under the ball. Okay, lunge, try to get under the ball, hit the shot here at 7 o'clock, you know, try to have a better margin, or something like, okay, next time, safer margin over the net. Okay, you can do this, let's go. So all of these things can help you fight that perfect version of yourself that is dragging you down. And the third point that I feel that it's really important to address is focus on the present. Because if you think of it, every time you miss a shot, it's already in the past. You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. So by reinforcing a certain mistake or something that you did badly, that moment, it's already gone. So you really can't do anything. So by being focused on the present, or to repair the present in order to prepare the future, because as a tennis player, you always need to think on the next shot and on the next shot and on the next shot. It really helps you to be more positive on the court, and also it helps you a lot to try and once again mitigate or try to counter the presence, also the pressure that your perfect version of yourself is putting on your shoulders. So this wraps up our video for today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, make sure to hit that button, and hope to see you soon, guys. So once again, thanks for watching, and keep on snacking.